Hi everyone, and welcome to Life in the Eye of Tony Coaching. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you like what you see at the end of this video, go ahead and click the subscribe button and turn on the post notification valve so you are notified every time I post new content. So, as you can see, Aries and I are out in nature. We are in Shaver Lake, California, and we are currently camping out at Sample Meadow, and we just did this 2-hour hike, which got pretty far up the summit, and now we're headed back. But let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. So, separation. Let's talk about what it is, how we create it, and how we can undo it. Because what we manifest from the ego, we can always undo and then manifest in alignment with the soul. So we always have to understand that there are two operating forces going back and forth within us: the ego and our soul. The ego's mission is to divide and destroy, okay? The key word there is divide. That's the separation. The soul's mission is to bring peace and harmony. So separation is really a construct of the ego because it wants to keep you separate from your abundance. The soul wants to remind you that you already have it. Right? So how can I want something and project that I don't have it and continually want and want and want and want it, therefore making it farther and farther and farther away from me? With the soul, you begin to remember what you already have. You remember to be grateful. You move back into a place where you are humbling yourself, where you are being one with what is. So now that I've gone over that, separation is really just your ego trying to tell you that it wants you to project a want. Maybe that job is something you want. Maybe that romantic relationship is something you want. Maybe having more money is something you want, right? The ego is going to use whatever it is that it can, and it's going to form it around your insecurities. So maybe you feel unworthy, therefore it's going to project. It wants someone who is going to be able to come and rescue you and take care of you and do all of this other stuff. But in the end, that want is an illusion because it's no one's job other than your own to heal yourself and feel that place of lack that you're coming from, right? You're projecting your lack onto somebody else. Therefore, that person is never, ever, ever going to be able to fulfill you because they're going to have to work on their own stuff. Like, we all got stuff to work on, and they have to work on theirs, and you have to work on yours. So that's why the ego will always project a want that is an illusion that is never really ever going to bring you fulfillment or true happiness, which is something that the soul can do. So when you start to align with the soul on your mission and your healing journey, you're going to start to go within. And as you go within, it's like peeling back layers of an onion. Right? You pull back one, you get closer to the center. You pull back another one, you get even closer to the center. And you realize that those layers were just blocks. You know, they were just preventing you from getting closer to yourself and creating this relationship with you and this relationship with essentially God. Because you were made from God, you have always been made of God, you have always been an eternal being, inherent of abundance and worthiness. So those layers of the onion are the insecurities that you stored, right? So maybe the next insecurity that you might be working through is your financial situation, right? So maybe that was programmed within you because you grew up in a household where you constantly saw your parents working and working and working, but never ever making enough, right? But the truth about it is that you always had what you needed because you made it this far, right? So if you were to become more grateful instead of comparing, so that's where separation also comes in, is we compare, right? So that's the basis of want, is, well, what my moment is right now is not what it could be, which is could be like this person's moment, right? But we're all on different journeys and we're all healing different stuff. Come on, Aries. So the fact that you are coming from a place of lack with your finances is that just means that that's an area that you were meant to heal in this lifetime for yourself. And the way you do that is by becoming grateful for literally like every penny that you have. And this is something that is gonna take time. It's not all of a sudden just gonna be like, oh wow, all of a sudden I feel great about money. No, you want to change your relationship that you're having with money. Because right now, it's just like the relationship or the example that I used in the first one. Money is never going to solve your problems. But you're projecting, the ego is projecting that money is going to solve your problems and bring you everlasting fulfillment. But that's not true. People who have a lot of money still encounter difficulties. They lose people, they get sick, they lose what they had, and then they have to get it all back again. So money is just an illusion toward happiness, because if you dropped that and become grateful for everything that it is that you have, all of the money that you have right now, then you would start to become happy again within yourself. So you're pulling back that layer of insecurity, you're pulling back that projection, and you're going within. Okay? That is the basis of separation, is you want something that is outside of you because you think that it's going to make you happy. Nothing outside of you is ever going to make you happy. Ever. I don't even care about like the fun stuff. Like if I go out and party, like, ooh, that makes me happy. Or if I, enjoy somebody's intimate moment, like that's gonna make me happy. No, because that stuff goes away and you're still left with what's inside of you. So now, how do we undo the separation? We undo the separation by constantly reminding ourselves that nothing outside of us is ever going to bring us lasting happiness. Okay, I'm going to repeat that word because it's really important. Lasting happiness. Okay, it might bring you a moment of happiness. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. If I got a $5,000 check right now, that would make me really happy, right? But if I spent it all, then I would be back at the moment that I was at right before I got the money, which is dealing with all the stuff that I have inside of me. So if I wasn't happy when I got that $5,000, I'm not going to be happy when it's gone. Okay? And that's the key here, is you want to be happy when you have something, and then you want to be happy still when you don't have something. So by constantly reminding ourselves that nothing outside of us is ever going to make us happy, we start to lessen the grip of the ego and we start to go into our soul. We start to align with a higher frequency. And then from there, we start to remember that the source of happiness that has been within us this entire time is something that is infinite and eternal. Now, depending on your spiritual beliefs and whatever it is that you believe in, this may resonate for you and this may not resonate for you, but it's what resonates for me, and I have to teach my truth. So, God is inside of all of us. The ego tries to take us away from God. This is that whole devil versus God, evil versus good, good and bad. The two people on, the right side, the good angel, and the devil on the left side, right? It's really just the ego trying to take you away from going within. And when you go within, you remember exactly who you are, which is an eternal being who has been inherently worthy of all of the abundance in the entire universe, because you are made of the entire universe. Because we were all made of the same thing, and we are all one. So, once you remember who you are, despite the fact that maybe you might not have the entire abundance that it is that you are thinking that you're worthy of, which you are, it's just going to take time, because you have to become disciplined, right? And in your discipline, you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and that starts to manifest externally outside of you. So I hope that I'm explaining this well, because I know I'm walking back, and I know I really want to be able to connect with you all. The illusion of the ego is that something outside of you is going to make you happy. The truth of it, from the soul perspective, is that your happiness is already within you. You just need to go in and remember that you have it. And once you remember that you have it, then your whole entire system starts to change, okay? Because we are all energy vibrating on a frequency and a vibration, okay? So, once you... hold on, sorry. I had to basically go around that fallen tree, okay? The reason why when we are projecting from the ego, we're projecting lack, because we're moving farther away from our true self, which is why we are encountering more and more problems and more lack, okay? When you move in towards yourself, you close that separation, and therefore you feel different. And that's the key here. You don't feel lack anymore. You feel whole again. You feel full. And that fullness is the key. That is when you know you have undone the separation. You are back in union with yourself and with God, your belief system, whatever it is. You might not have one, but at least you're back in union with you. That's when the abundance starts to show up, because you're no longer projecting. You are remembering exactly that you have always had all of this, and that's when it starts to manifest. But you can't be delusional about it. We have to be realistic here. There's always a time delay. And that time delay works for us, and it works against us sometimes. And that means, sorry, I got scared. The time delay is our manifestations once we move back into union with ourselves and are vibrating at a high vibration and on a high frequency. So our thoughts and emotions are finally back in this feeling of being full, of being abundant, of feeling grateful. Then it moves outside of us, and then it's going to take time to travel. I'm not going to say project anymore. I'm going to say travel. It's just going to take time to expand, and as it expands out into the universe, with coming from within you, then you start to see it in physical form. But if you're impatient, or you have another blockage that you need to clear, which, could be, well, really it's either going to be impatience, or it's just going to be you being ungrateful, because those two things are always going to keep things outside of you. You either want it now or you're not happy with what you have, and that's why you lose it. So I'm not going to keep rambling on anymore because I feel like I've really gotten the message out that I channeled. So remember that separation is always a construct of the ego. It is trying to fool you into an illusion that something outside of you is going to bring you everlasting happiness, which which is the farthest from the truth that it can ever be, because you just need to remember in your own time and for yourself that you have everything that you need within you. And the moment you start going within and uncovering all of those demons and blockages and pain, trust me, that's not going to be a fun process, but it is worthwhile. Then you're going to notice that you start to come closer and into union. Therefore, there's no separation from anything because you already have it. All right, everyone. I love you all. Have a great day, whatever it is that you're doing. Go out there and start interrupting all of the illusions that you've been projecting from the ego and start aligning with your soul. Until then, I will see you the next post. All right. Bye, you guys.